Debbie Taylor says that it's her birthday. I don't know about today, but it might have been yesterday or maybe coming up, I don't know. But let's see what's going on here. She requested in one of the comments. We'll just get the cards here and we'll just give them the shuffle for you there, Debbie. And I'm going to now, as we shuffle, I just simply say, I ask for the truth on behalf of Debbie Taylor concerning what's going on now and surrounding her birthday. What is all this about? Is this an excuse to just say I want a reading, or what's the truth? What's the real reason why maybe she's asking for a reason, a reading, a correction there. Either way, I ask for guidance and insight in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. We just cut the deck there like that for you there, Debbie, and I'm going to move things to the side. Where the deck splits is where it's believed to be at its strongest point, most energetic. So effectively the centre of the deck is now on top, isn't it? Let's deal off the top of the deck there. I'm going to deal out 3 cards for you just to see what's been going on for you in your recent past, what's happening in the present and what's about to happen maybe around the corner in the immediate future. Notice there it's not too far into the past, not too far ahead into the future. Although it's your birthday, nevertheless your birthday is, say it was today for example, then of course it's today we're dealing with, and around today what recently happened and what's about to happen, which will lead to some sort of guidance about what a potentially we could do. But what are we dealing with here? What are we faced up with? Or up against maybe? Who knows? Let's just pull out the first card, and as we pull out the first card, I'll just bring it round just so you can see it there, and I'll show you. We'll flip it nice and slowly, not to disturb its energy. And as we just flip it over there, notice there the energy of the serpent. You've got the serpent, and the serpent, of course, indicates that a sly and subtle approach has been needed just recently to achieve whatever it was you wanted to achieve, to do whatever it was you wanted to do. Really, I got a sort of sense as though maybe you are going about it a bit like a bull in a china shop, a bull at a gate, or whatever you want to call the phrase there, and it looks as though you shouldn't have really done that. You should have been a bit more subtle in that sense, as it says there, a bit more yes, sly in that sense, but more just a bit more of a laid back sort of try to make sure that they're the ones who are seen and not heard, and not you, or they're the ones who are seen and you're the one who isn't heard or seen either way. You should have really been working in the shadows here with whatever has been going on. Of course, the snake. Notice there the snake has the ability to move in and out of crevices, nooks and crannies. I suppose from a symbolic point of view, that can be sort of, you should have been dealing with. Yes, attention to detail as well. It would appear there. But really, you should have been working in the shadows where you couldn't be seen. The detail that couldn't be seen, or that wasn't visible, or should we say didn't make itself apparent at the time. And I do sort of sense here you've been overlooked, or you have overlooked something. Correction, you have overlooked something because of it. You've missed something because you didn't look in the nooks and crannies. You didn't look under every stone symbolically of the situation that you're in. and I feel that you may have lost out here because of something that you missed, either inadvertently or maybe because you just went at it. It's a reactionary thing, isn't it, to just go at something like a bull at a gate, bull in a china shop, however you want to call it there. It's easy to just go at things like Taurus, and if you don't get what you want, you can be less like a raging bull in that sense, but it doesn't always get you what you want in the end though, does it? It just gets you noticed, and gets you noticed for being an attention seeker, and then people don't want anything to do with attention seekers. They avoid them like the plague, basically. Which maybe actually, if it's a cry for help or something like that, it can be a bit of a crying shame as well, can't it, on the other hand. But let's now draw out the next card here, and we're just going to flip it nice and slowly here, just to see what vibrates right now around you. Yes, the raven there, the energy of the raven, just indicating there that darkness looms on the horizon for you right now. And this really, I suppose, to some degree says it all, doesn't it? Notice there that the skull is visible, quite clear, in the sense of the remnants of what was is left behind. The raven, I always tend to look at this card and notice that the raven has as if it's been given a deliberate outline so you know where it is and you can see it, because it blends in the background and is camouflaged and works within the darkness and is part of the darkness because of it. And of course the raven is the only animal spirit that actually speaks and brings the messengers from and carries the soul through darkness into light. And maybe that's what it is. Once you've come out into the light, you realise the truth. The truth is that you are but a skull, or in that sort of metaphorical way of viewing it, you are just a skeleton, really. You can put on weight, you can eat, you can have a brain inside it. You can have muscles there up on to move it about, but at the end of the day it's still the same old skeleton, whatever you do. And I get this sort of feeling as though you feel as if it's been the same old situation. All I've done is try to influence it by doing things, reacting to things all the time, and it's had no effect because it's still the same. The more things change, the more they remain the same, don't they? And this is what I sort of get. With change, of course, the serpent can symbolise change in the sense of, yes, it sheds its skin, but it's also, like a lot of change, kind of a nasty bite. And maybe the bite of the serpent just recently, because maybe it's bitten you in the sense of saying, Luke, you should have really kept a low profile, you should have worked in the shadows so they didn't know what you were doing, and you could have caught them out that way. But because now they know what you're thinking, they know your battle plan, as you would say, then of course at the end of the day you are now up shit creek without a paddle to some degree, and the darkness looms on the horizon because of it, in the sense that the uncertainty and what's left behind really isn't much, is it? But nevertheless, I want to see what is around the corner for the immediate future between now and this time next month. I just want to just get that card down, just flip it over nice and slowly. Remember not to disturb its energy, just nice and steady there as she goes. And notice the energy of the maiden, indicating that a new relationship blossoms. I don't know what this is, but I don't sense that this is actually in the sense of a love relationship. It's more to do with either a business partnership or it's some sort of nexus, some sort of joining together with something or somebody, a relationship with, for whatever reason. I don't know what that reason is, but I'm going to pull out another card here. I feel something's been unsaid again, as I always do with these bloody cards. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Let's just flip this card and see what it is. Oh, the energy of the talisman there. The energy of the talisman Notice the green of the heart chakra there, if you can just see that. With that stone, that gemstone, or whatever you want to call it there, in the centre. And that could be a symbol that yes, you're destined to succeed with whoever it is you're in with now. Not so much with love relationships, it could be, but I'm sort of locking on it's more of a partnership of convenience, a relationship with somebody who can help you out with this little problem that you've got that's caused this darkness. Why you've given yourself away, I don't know why you've given the game away. You should have been working, and you should have been a bit more careful though, and because of that, nevertheless, a relationship is going to blossom there in the immediate future for you, but with somebody who can help you succeed in getting what you have failed to get. You failed to get it because you went about it the wrong way. And maybe this other somebody, I just sort of sense here that this other somebody may just have the ability, because it either happened to them and they succeeded, or it's just two heads are better than one. It's as simple as that, isn't it? It could be as simple as that. But either way, really that we shouldn't really place under there, because it's as if it overshadows all of them. It should really be placed just around about here somewhere, shouldn't it? Where it's just like a continuation of or whatever there, and that looks a bit better, doesn't it? In the context of how we're describing it and talking about it there, and that's really for your reading there. I hope that this helps in some way, shape or form, and let's hope you can be carried out of the darkness. Let's hope the raven there now will carry you out of the darkness into the light. Maybe this is it. Maybe you're just a stubborn old mule. Although mules aren't stubborn, you know, really. If you negotiate with a mule, they'll do anything you want them to do, so they are actually highly intelligent. But to just use the terminology as stubborn as a mule or an ox or whatever, nevertheless, maybe it's just time to just acknowledge that two heads are better than one in this situation that you are in, and then you will succeed. Not that the other person will succeed for you. Don't think that somebody else will do it for you. It's just that two heads are better than one, and what one person can suddenly think of, another person might not. You might think of something that they haven't thought of. They can evaluate what you've told them and then say if it's worth it or not. It's that sort of thing going on. Very interesting, but at the moment things don't look good right now, but they will pick up between now and this time next month. If you wanted just a quick, I suppose if you were to use the moon phases for that, just off the top of my head, as we look at the chart here, so it's not exactly off the top of my head, is it? As we banish on the 26th, or as we banished on the 26th of April, the new moon on the 4th of May. The new moon on the 4th of May at 22:45 UTC, whatever that is in wherever you are there. In whatever language you speak there, then of course that's the answer there. Although not an exact science, of course, you can initiate the magic. You can initiate it then, and then of course the healing comes if it's time for rectification. Comes on the first quarter, around about the 12th of May. If you want to do any banishing, then you do it from the full moon back to the new again on the on the 3rd of June. Although really banishing is done on the 18th of May, or around about the 26th of May. Correction, the full moon, the peak of magic on the 18th of May, and then. If whatever comes from that, you can evaluate and work around that. But if there's any time to put it right, it will be the 12th of May onwards, or 3 days before, 3 days after. That sort of period. Nothing is an exact science, is it? It wouldn't be a science otherwise, would it? So that's using the moon phases as a signpost, I suppose, to give you some sort of coat hanger to work on. Even though things may be earlier or sooner, but nevertheless, this darkness, this period of darkness, will subside, providing you try and rely on others. Yes, you may think that you are brain of whatever. You may think that you are the superiorly intellectual and able to deal with it yourself, but I think you're realising now that just maybe you should have been a bit more careful in what either you did or what you said or whatever, and how you approach this, because you've been left in the dark. Either left in the dark because nothing has come of it, or left in the dark because everybody's deserted you, and that would be a shame, when really, of course, for people to desert you, there must have been people there in the first place, and either they'll come back or somebody new will come in there. Essentially somebody new, you'll be able to view it with a fresh perspective without judgment. So hope that this helps in some way. If it doesn't, it's hard luck. It's either right, wrong, or better in the middle. That's just unfortunate. That's just the way things are. So with that, for you there, Debbie, I'll wish you the best. For now, we will cast a shadow over it and declare that these cards have now spoken.